Okay, so I'm making this video not because I'm qualified to make it, because I'm not, but because I have suffered under this Promaster 1500 and the leaking cow and the problems that it has given. So I'm going to give you a quick run through of what has happened to mine and what I've tried to do to fix it. I mean, number one is this is the problem. The cowl here leaks. So mine didn't leak because I had the wind. This is the original windshield. Mine leaked because I had a factory repair and they redid the two cooling fans in here. And when they did, this has just never been the same. Never went back together the same way. I should have, had I known when they did that repair, I would have made them fix this. The first thing you can do is make sure you have a good seal right here along your windshield. So for this, I have used that clear Gorilla Glue. And as you can see, I've actually got a pretty good seal here. But then the next place that it leaks is this seam right here. I'm going to lift this hood up so I can take a look here. So this is the real problem area. This thing comes in two pieces and it seams up right here, and this glue gives out. And so then you end up with, and in fact, I don't think my current glue is holding. So you can actually see that there's some movement between those. And I just redid this. So this seam right here, to say that it's problematic is to underscore what problematic could mean. Because the water comes into here and it hits this little piece of metal right here. Okay? From here, because there's no true engine cover, it runs in and it sits on top of your intake manifold. Okay, so I have my intake manifold off of here, and then the top part of the next piece, which is more intake manifold, and it continues running down. And one of the spots that it really likes to hit is right here, and you can see the very lowest spot down here. This is your fuel injector. Okay, so it's sitting here and water is pooling up and around your fuel injector and the electrical connection for it. So it shorts out your fuel injector and you end up with it. So I ended up with a P0203, which is right here, cylinder 3 fuel injector out. And I just pulled this out, and I don't know if you can see, but there's just a ton of grime if you pull the O-ring off of this. And this is actually even kind of cleaned off, but this just had a ton of grime around it. Again, because it's that lowest point where stuff is sitting there and draining down into. Okay, so the other thing, this is your main drain, right? So things come down here, and if this seam is bad, there's game over. But the main drain for the cowl is right here. And this is just a big hole. And what happens is, that's where everything goes, including leaves, branches, twigs, acorns. If you happen to live under an oak tree like me, it's hell on earth trying to keep this clear. It has to be vacuumed out, and it plugs up, it backs up, and then no matter how good your seal is here, it's gonna wanna leak, okay? Okay, so there's the seam, the hose, two more places. Out at the corners, here, these corners, this is the first drain of mine to break. I have just remade this with some HVAC parts, so I've glued it underneath there, and then I've used what's called T-Rex tape, same as like a waterproof Gorilla tape around here to hold this on until that glue dries. I also had to tape over a couple of openings that have either lost the piece or become much larger over time. So again, you've got to get that water down and away from this, because here, what it wants to, if you have this hole, it drains directly onto, and this is the pump that feeds your windshield washer pump. So this puts the fluid out onto there. So if your windshield washer gets, now this you can buy for like 10 bucks on Amazon. You don't need any special tools or anything, and you just wiggle back and forth and pull it completely out and just replace it. Like I say, it's about a $10 fix though, if you get it on there. Much easier to do if you pull out the passenger side headlight. Now this side, I made this repair years ago because this is probably the most critical one, because this side drain goes directly down onto your electronics. So this side goes onto your fuse box. So this one, and don't laugh, it's not nice. This is a toilet fill pipe. What I did is I cut 4 channels into it and cemented it down into the bottom so that the water will drain down that pipe. This is not a fantastic piece of engineering, but regardless of how you fix it, what's important is that you do fix it, and that one way or another, that water is if nothing else, at least so that it will come up over and leak onto your car or come out as you drive. But that water cannot just sit here and drip down onto your fuse box and all of your electrical connections and all those open wiring. It's just bad. And no matter what, if you let that much water onto it, it's going to become an issue. Now, the next thing that happens, so I've had pretty good luck with this Gorilla Grip clear glue. It's what I use to seal around the window, and seems to have held up pretty well. It does occasionally give way, but I mean, there's only so much you can do. Okay, so I got the new fuel rail in. I got the new screws for the fuel rail. I used dielectric grease. I have new fuel injectors. So I put this piece all together because really the most dangerous part of having this open is having these airports in here. Because if you drop a screw, if you drop a bolt, anything down inside this and it goes inside your engine, it's end of days. If you notice that you did it, you can tear the whole engine apart looking for it. If you didn't notice that you do it, it's very easy to just completely destroy your entire engine. So, okay, now we have this. Now, so I have my other one, I have all these blocked up, but now I need to pull that off and put this in place. And luckily these bolts came out fine. These bolts came out a nightmare before. The heads just snapped right off. So what I did is at the very top I put dielectric grease on these, and I'm hoping that it will just keep, maybe if it gets some moisture on there, it will keep that moisture from penetrating in. So nobody's told me to do that, but that just feels like the right answer. So, okay, let's go pull the other one off and put this one on. So these are the heads to the original bolts, and you can see that they just snapped off. They were completely rusted through, and so rusted through that in fact they actually rust welded the old fuel rail to this bottom piece, and it took a crowbar to get it off. Yeah, it was a nightmare. Okay, so the old one is out. Now, going to gingerly slide the new one into position. So now we're going to put on the top of the air manifold, and these bolts right here, these are the ones that are the issue with corrosion. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll pull these out and switch positions. They're all still in good shape, but I bought some kip snips to put over these to help the corrosion in the future. So slip this back in. There. So this will be my third time taking the engine apart because van's still not running correctly, still misfiring on cylinder 3, and I think maybe it's the wiring harness, but I'm not 100% sure, and my mechanic can't get me in for another week, and I was able to get a new wiring harness in from eBay, so I think it's worth it. I think I'm skilled enough taking it apart now. I'm going to dare one more time, take it apart, replace this wiring harness, and see if that is it. I feel like I'm close, but who knows? Maybe I'm not. Here we go. So the benefit of having done this a few times is that I've learned some lessons, like which size tools I need and what's easiest to do it with, and how to keep stuff organized so when I go to put it all back together again, I know where it's at. My tools out. Now let's get this sucker apart. First things first, I'm gonna pull the negative. So get everything de-energized.